problem. I still got plan C.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Bonjour, konnichiwa, guten tag, hello. Welcome to the Plan C podcast. Great episode for you today. Doing NFL recap shit, because, you know, that's what I like to do. It's funny, before I recorded the episode, it was like, okay, let's try and keep this to 30 minutes. And I totally didn't do that. So, sorry, not sorry. Enjoy the episode. Enjoy the rambling. Hope you're doing well. This is going to come out on a Tuesday. No, sorry. Wednesday. No. I cannot articulate, my folks. It comes out on a Monday. Oh my God, Monday. So I hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope you're doing okay. Make sure you're following us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. That's called subscribe. I'm sure you all know. Let's smash that subscribe button, guys, and that like button. You know the vibes. Yeah, but we're all over the place. We're on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts. As I said, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We're all over the place. Thanks to AJ for joining the episode today. And I'm thankful he didn't read my text out loud, because there's some New Orleans Saints texts that he totally could have read that, you know, I would have accepted him doing so. Just about my hype about them. Great episode ahead. Thanks for checking it out. Hope you're having a great Monday. Quick housekeeping. I will be traveling, so no football podcasts for the next 2 weeks of football. Unfortunately, will not be able to watch. But I'm hoping to have a sort of new type of episode come out. I'm going to leave a surprise as to what it is, but little like 10-minute podcast. And I say it's 10 minutes, but it could be a situation like this where it goes far beyond that. Anyway, thanks for checking it out. Hope you're doing well. And enjoy the podcast. Peace! And we're back. Joined by AJ for... I think this is going to be a sort of weekly thing. We're not going to be able to do it next week, and probably the week after. But
occasionally weekly.
Yeah, occasionally weekly. Be on the lookout for it. But what's up, AJ? Hope you had a lovely football watching Sunday. Mine was...
It was a roller coaster, I'm assuming.
There were good parts. There were bad parts. There were certainly bad parts, I'll tell you that. So let's get into it. As I mentioned in my intro, one of the topics we're talking about today is team collapses. And why not start with my beautiful idiots, the beautiful idiots that are the New Orleans Saints. Coming into the game, 2-0 record, going against the Packers, who have a very good team. There's talent all throughout, but a lot of that top-end talent was injured. David Bakhtiari, Jair Alexander, Christian Watson, all missing. But Saints could not hold on, and they blew a 17-0 lead. And yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Did you have an opportunity to watch any of this game?
I had it on in the background. It was one of the 4 games I had on the side with the Colts playing at the same time. I was a little bit more focused on that game, but
that was an intense game.
I did have the opportunity of texting you back and forth during the game.
Yeah.
I did not know the Packers came back and won that game until after the fact, till the game was already over. I didn't see it in real time, so I was a bit surprised. Especially the way you were texting me, and I'm not gonna throw it in your face.
You know, you can do it if you can do it if you want. I was feeling this. I was like, because in my head, this season so far had been going exactly as I thought it would, where we come in, the defense is playing out of their skull, and by the way, the streak of keeping teams under 20 points is now to 11. We may have lost yesterday, but we kept the streak going. So, you know, some some
Priorities.
silver linings, if you will. Some people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're just making excuses because you're sad." Well, yes. And then, the offense would struggle at first with a new quarterback and a bunch of wide receivers who haven't shared the field for too long together. And without Alvin Kamara, I thought they would struggle. So honestly, I am like, I'm actually so fine with them being 2-1. It's just the fact that Carr's now hurt. That's my biggest thing, man.
That's the kicker, right?
Yeah.
Now that defense has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
We'll see if Jameis can hold it down. I mean, you talked about it a ton last week. They re-signed the defensive end who we're not going to name because he's
a
I
pest.
don't know if I agree with it, but I did not realize how. I guess I might have underestimated how great that defense really was playing. I still think they made. I saw some people coming off the Jordan Love hype train. I just think that defense is that good. I saw a stat this morning. There was the most forced. There's a list of the most forced incompletions this season prior to tonight's games. Obviously, the top 3 out of the top 4, the top 3 in the NFL, I should say, are all Saints players.
Shout out to Alontae Taylor. He was
Alontae
playing
Taylor,
out of his skull yesterday. Holy
Marshawn
Moses.
Lattimore, and Isaac Yiadom. Who seems like he's caught on with the Saints, which is awesome to see.
He's getting picked on a little bit yesterday.
I mean, he still has 5 forced incompletions, which is, I mean, okay.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Alontae Taylor playing how good he is, and then Marshawn Lattimore, of course, he's somebody's going to get picked on.
Yeah, I mean, we were even missing our number 2 quarterback, Paulson Adebo, who himself is also freaking good.
And Marcus May is suspended, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, an incident from 2021 when he was with the Jets that had been like appealed and So it was one of those things. But the Saints knew about it when they signed him.
Yeah.
Ago.
Well.
Yeah. So
we'll see what happens. We'll see how Jameis goes.
Yeah. So we're not going to spend too much time on the Saints, but moving forward, if you look at the schedule, you're like, okay, a good defense and a team with like a bunch of really good skill position players, you should be able to win. You should, I'm not thinking about it now, just like in a vacuum, the situation, it's really not that bad, right? It's really not that bad because Atlanta's 2-1. The Bucks, they're playing the Eagles tonight, so you think they're probably going to go to 2-1. We don't play experienced quarterbacks. I think the next experienced, the next sort of good quarterback we play, I think, is Trevor Lawrence, but that might be that shit might be turning. I mean, depending on how you feel about Mac Jones, but yeah, I don't know. The alarm bells aren't ringing, but an injury to your quarterback certainly isn't good. But nothing's broken. It's an AC joint sprain, and so
it's not season ending.
Not season ending. Go Saints. We got this, baby. We're gonna rely on the defense.
Famous Jameis.
Yeah, famous Jameis, baby. Here we go. Moving on. More just collapsing / coaching, just malpractice. Let's talk about this Josh McDaniels kicking a field goal on 4th and 4, down 8. I think there's 7 minutes left.
It was less than that. It was around 3 minutes left in the game. There was not that much time left. It was one of the most puzzling decisions I've seen in quite some time. It was at that point you're relying on your defense, and I think we texted last night. That's not a defense you can really rely
on. And the sad thing is, I think it's more like a combination of not only can you not rely on that defense, but Jimmy G is just come on, he's not that guy.
No, there was 2 minutes and 25 seconds left in the game at that point. The Raiders did have all 3 timeouts, and they had the 2-minute warning. So I guess their thinking is they take the points, they have plenty of time to get the ball back. But the thing is, you're down 8 points. You kick a field goal, you still need a touchdown.
Yeah.
So, there was a penalty before earlier in that drive where they were going to they kicked a field goal, and there's a penalty on Pittsburgh. I forget what it was. Somebody touched the snapper, I think it was. So they got the automatic first down. If you're going to kick the field goal and try to get the ball back, just do it then. You wasted over a minute of time.
Take the points, yeah.
Doing the exact same damn thing. So I mean, they got the ball back with not that much time, way deep in their own side of the field, and then Jimmy G immediately throws a pick. So got to be one of the poorest decisions I've seen in quite some time, especially for a team that's already playing so poorly. This coach is already on the hot seat.
And like you're at home, like if you're on the
I saw so many terrible towels in that stands. I don't really know if you can compare.
Yeah, that's fair.
Those Pittsburgh fans travel, man. I went to an Indy game back in 2017, 2016. It was a Thursday night. It was a Thanksgiving game. There's way too many of those damn terrible towels in the stands. It's horrible.
People always talk about how the Cowboys fans travel. I think the Steelers fans travel the best.
Yeah, there was a ton going on last night, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on that call there?
I mean, I think it's stupid. You have Davante Adams. You need 4 yards. Can you name a Steelers cornerback?
Levi Wallace played pretty damn good last night.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But like Davante Adams was like he had 13 receptions for 172 yards. Like
yeah,
I don't know.
And what do you do with that guy now? The team's 0-3, and he's not. I mean, Devontae is pissed. There's a video that they interviewed him after the game, and he was just saying, like, I know it's already 3 weeks in. It's only 3 weeks into this, but I don't have time to wait around. And forgive me, I misspoke. The Raiders are 1-2. I forgot their opening game week, but opening win. But regardless, I mean, you got one of the best receivers in the league who just absolutely went off, and he's already pissed. You got Jimmy G, he is who he is, right? He's not gonna change. I just don't know why you don't go for. I don't. I mean, I don't understand the reasoning behind it.
Why did this team not re-sign Derek Carr?
Not only did they not re-sign him, they benched him at the end of the year, man. That was just, I don't know. It's in my opinion, it's the coach who thinks he knows better, right? He wants to bring in one of his guys. He wants to bring back, reunite with Jimmy G. I don't know, dude. I think I don't think it's gonna be long before we see Aiden O'Connell take over.
I actually disagree. I think Gruden. I think that's funny. I think Davis is too cheap. I think he's like, fuck it, we're writing it out. You know.
I think I don't see how you see that, and I mean, this is what
I think he's too cheap.
But roll with the rookie in that case, right?
Yeah,
but I don't know. How many coaches do you need to fire? I think there was a report that came out in the offseason that that there was so many coaches that were being paid tens of millions of dollars still that were no longer with the teams. Like,
oh, I mean, yeah,
and the Raiders are one of the biggest causes of that with that whole John Gruden contract.
That's like if you do that with college football, it's actually really like it makes you want to puke. But yeah, no, I completely agree. They've just like they have fucked up at seemingly every turn, and then when it seems like they're on the right path, they just fuck it up again. Like, why did this team not keep Rich Bisaccia? Why did they not keep him? Like,
again, they wanted something flashy. I guess Josh McDaniels is he's a polarizing coach, right? He's one of those coaches that people love to hate, myself included. Hate the guy. But I don't. Who knows, dude? I couldn't tell you.
He needs to send him back to fucking New England, like, and just keep him.
That's what he's gonna do. I mean, he hasn't been successful without Tom Brady. So, anyway, despite them going for kicking the field goal instead of going for it and losing, I still don't think that was the worst call I've seen. And it's probably a little bit of a interesting switch because I think Brandon Staley made one of the worst, most puzzling calls I've ever seen. Granted, that team won. The Chargers ended up winning, but it was in spite of their head coach.
Yeah. Well, there's with Staley, I feel like there's a lot of that.
So the Chargers were up by 4 on Minnesota, and they were at their own 24-yard line with backed up 4th and 1, and they go for it with how much time was left? I don't have it in front of me. Less than 2 minutes, correct?
It's like I think it was 1 minute and 51 seconds.
Yes.
No
1 minute
timeouts.
51 left. Minnesota has 0 timeouts. Minnesota's down by 4, and LA keeps the ball on the field. 4th and 1, goes for it, doesn't get it. Gives Minnesota the ball back at the 24-yard line. Again, they got lucky because Kirk Cousins threw a pick in the end zone, which I actually don't think was. I don't think it was a bad throw, but this was the same shit with the Browns lost last year in 2022, right? Last year, yeah, they played the Browns. They almost lost the game for the exact same goddamn reason he went for it when he shouldn't have gone for it. This dude's got to be on. I don't know with this win if how much it changes your mind, but he's up there with the top 3 coaches on the hottest seats right now.
No,
right?
I think Staley. I have never thought Staley was a good coach. It confused me when he got hired for the Chargers job. Because, granted, I was higher on Anthony Lynn than most people, but I was like, I don't know. That was like the season when the Rams were 7-9, I think, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't know. I felt
just shown nothing, in my opinion.
I feel the same way about him that I do Matt Eberflus. And I know he was with you guys last season, so I know you might have an opinion about him. But I watch him in Chicago and I'm like, I know this guy doesn't have a lot, but what the fuck is going on there? Like,
yeah, that whole Chicago situation's much. I think it goes much deeper.
That's a podcast in itself.
Yeah, I gotta disagree. I think Brandon Staley has so much. He's been given so much. Look at the weapons they have. He has his franchise quarterback, right? He's got a top 10 running back. He's got a great defense. A lot of great defensive players around that defense. And he just keeps making these boneheaded mistakes. This is the second time he's gotten lucky, and they haven't lost because of it.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
But yeah, it's just I mean,
coaching malpractice. Yeah. It's insane.
There was a lot of that went around. Let's bounce around.
Yeah.
What do you got next?
Let's move on to the Cowboys. I just think, we were talking about this team sort of last week up there with the 49ers and with the Eagles, just to be like, yep, this is the class of the NFL. And we on the other side, we looked at the Cardinals, and you would have thought it was us describing an ape versus a baby. But goddamn, for the second, you know what? I'll say for the 3rd week in a row, the Cardinals have shown up. They have a +5 point differential. They're only 1-2. Yes, fair. Your record is what your record is.
But this is a team that nobody thought was even going to win a game.
I thought. I mean, yeah. I think it's really funny because before the season, you have the Cardinals where everyone's like, "Yep, they're gonna go 0-17," and everyone's like, "Oh, the Bears. Bears they're gonna take a step," and those two have just swapped now. Like, the Bears are dead, and the Cards, goddamn, they're a competitive team.
They surprisingly are playing well. Josh Dobbs, good for him, man. He's not lighting it up, but he's holding it down.
He's certainly gonna earn a contract.
It does kind of make you wonder what this team is gonna look like if Kyler comes back. Kyler's actually showing a little bit of fire, seemingly from what I've seen, more than he had in the past. So that team could look. They're not gonna make the playoffs. They're not gonna win their division, they could still finish last in their division, but they're showing a little bit of promise for next year, especially with the way that they're set up draft capital wise. They're going to be. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
One thing about the Cardinals that I don't really understand is like, how does Steve Keim still have a job? Oh no, wait, he was fired. Never mind.
He was gone. That dude's gone.
Yeah, never mind. That makes more sense. Because I was thinking about it, and I was like, yo, this team was so dysfunctional under Kyler Murray. Like, yeah.
But I mean, he was let go more so because of like outside issues, not because he was not good as a GM. I mean, it might have been a combination of things, but he had some legal issues he was dealing with. If he wasn't dealing with those, he might still be there.
True. So I don't know if I would say I'm happy for the Cardinals, but it's cool to see a team be competitive when literally everyone was writing them off.
I agree. I'm in a Survivor League, and there's about 215 people. I think 90 some picked the Cowboys to win yesterday.
Oh my god.
So,
I get it.
So I mean, we're talking about how we're happy for the Cardinals and how they're impressing. If you're a Cowboys fan, how much does that game worry you? We just saw the Commanders get their asses kicked, right? The Giants, not looking great. We'll see how Philly plays tonight. I mean, you still got room, right? You're okay. It's not like it's week 3. You're not out of it, but that's got to be.
I think if you're a Cowboys fan, every loss is so tough because the Eagles, barring injury, are just a locomotive. They're a fucking locomotive that is just full steam ahead all the time. So I mean, if I'm a Cowboys fan, you're pissed. You're pissed. This isn't. I think in terms of dropping the game, it's like, okay, you can have a bad game, whatever. But I think the implications of it in terms of like, yeah, now you are chasing the Eagles. Now you're chasing the Eagles. You are going to have to so that means you have to hope the Eagles lose. Enjoy that. Enjoy like getting your teeth kicked in after every freaking, after hoping they lose. That's not going to happen. I swear they're going to go 14-3 again. Or whatever they were last year. And then as the Cowboys, you're like, you have to look ahead and you're like, okay, now I have to see what teams we have to worry about going ahead. Because sorry.
Yeah. No. I don't mean to cut you off. I just was very surprised by how they lost yesterday, right? Because losing Trayvon Diggs is huge. I mean, they still have Stephon Gilmore, so at least they're not down to complete shit corners. So I mean, they're playing Josh Dobbs. The Cardinals played him perfect, man. I mean, I thought losing Trayvon Diggs was going to affect him in the passing game. Obviously, they still held it down, but they let up 200 plus rushing yards yesterday. That's what caught me off guard more so, I think.
Yeah, James Conner still doing it. I didn't draft him this year because I was like, no, there's no way James Conner is like yet another valuable asset. Like, no way. There's no way he does it again. This Cardinals team is too bad. No, I won't do it.
You thought.
I fucking thought.
Man, we've talked about some downfalls, some horrible losses. We haven't even talked about the worst one yet.
Oh, facts. Can I just real quick, just one just 30 seconds last on the Cowboys.
Starting the clock.
There's a path where the Cowboys go into week 6 2-3.
Who do they got next week?
They got the Patriots at home, which I mean, you'd think the Cowboys easily win that, but the Cardinals just provided a delightful little blueprint. And hey, the Patriots can run the football. They have some decent running backs. And then the next week,
let's see how Ezekiel Elliott goes in his homecoming.
And then the next week in San Francisco. Enjoy that one. You thought the fucking Cardinals could run the football? Enjoy that one. enjoy going up against Kyle Shanahan's run scheme. Anyway, moving on.
It'll be interesting.
Man, terrible weekend for the state of Colorado. Whew. Why don't you kick us off here with this one?
Yeah, I guess we'll touch base super quickly on college, man.
Yeah.
Dion was humbled. The Buffs were humbled. I've been a huge Buffs fan. That game I thought it was going to be competitive. They got walked down by Oregon by Bo Nix. Did not look great. Granted, they're missing arguably their best player on both sides of the ball, Travis Hunter, one of their top weapons just in general, offense, defense. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? The Buffs were getting hyped so much. They're getting so much coverage. I don't know if you watched Game Day when they were there last week.
Oh, dude, it was Celebrity Row.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's going to happen. That's awesome to see. Like, they're bringing in so much revenue and so many eyes to a team that was complete dog shit last year. They were 1-10. For them to even be ranked 2 weeks in a row, I think is cool. They're going to play USC this upcoming week, if I'm not mistaken. It's not going to get any better. They dropped out of the top 25. Very humbling week, but I still think that they have a decent path forward. We'll see how they fare this week. I don't see them getting stomped by 40+ points again. But they had a 40-point loss, and maybe it's a little under that. They still did not have the biggest loss in Colorado this week.
No, they did not.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so the Miami Dolphins fucking scored the most points in the NFL since 1966, folks. They scored 70 fucking points.
And they could have scored more.
And they could have scored more. They were missing their second wide receiver. They were missing a couple pieces on defense, but
well, they could have gone for it. They could have gone for the record or
yeah, they could have kicked the field goal. Yes.
But yeah, no Jalen Waddle. No problem, I guess, right? That was I don't think I'd ever would have seen a game get to 70.
The closest thing I've ever seen to this, and I'm very sorry if I am bringing up a painful memory.
Oh, it's the 62-point loss.
Yeah, the Curtis Painter game.
Yep.
That's in terms of like my own viewing. That's the closest thing I've ever seen to it. But
I remember thinking we had a chance in that game too. I was high on Curtis Painter for like 2 weeks. Yeah, that was a rough game. No, it was. I mean, but look at the circumstances too, right? That even back then, that was a Saints team that just came off the Super Bowl win, right? Because this was in 2010 versus
2011.
2011, excuse me.
This was Bountygate season, baby.
So 2 years after then, right?
Yeah,
And then still, regardless, a team that was very competitive the year before versus Curtis fucking Painter. You're talking about a Miami team who was good last year. People still have their questions about them versus Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. Like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
And there are decent players in that Denver secondary. Like, I know they're dealing with injuries. They were only able to dress 2 safeties yesterday, but Pat Surtain, like, by no means is a bad player.
I'd even go further. I think he's the top 3 corner.
Totally.
But I don't know. He got burned by Robbie. What was his name now? Chosen Anderson yesterday.
Robbie Chosen Anderson, yeah.
That was a very surprising game to see. I did not think that Denver had a chance to begin with, but to let up 70 points, man. I mean, and the way they did it too was just ridiculous.
It just feels like they can score at will. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter where they are on the field. They could be on their own 1-yard line and be like, lol, special Tyreek play, 99 yards, you know?
I mean, he ripped the touchdown first drive, 50+ yards again. And then their 2 running backs combined for over almost 400 rushing yards and 8 total touchdowns.
Sorry,
go for it.
This is silly, but not taking Tyreek in fantasy, like I knew it was a mistake after week 1 because I had a chance to take him. But man, is that shit gonna haunt me all season?
It's super interesting to watch. I'm curious to see how the rest of the season plays out. I mean, they're going to get better. They're going to get Jalen Waddle back. They're going to get Jeff Wilson back, who I think compliments. Well, I don't know where he fits in now. With A-Chain playing how great he did yesterday, I don't know how he
They
fits
get
into the
Jalen
offense.
Ramsey back. Like
Jalen Ramsey comes back.
Teron Armstead played, but he's not 100%. You're just like, what the fuck?
It'll be
It's not fair.
It's gonna be very interesting to see how. I don't know. You texted me yesterday. You said Miami might go 17-0. We'll see if they do it again, man. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out.
So, what's up with Sean Payton, man? Like,
you tell me. You're the Saints fan. You love the guy. I thought the trade for him to begin with was horrible. It was so stupid.
I mean,
did not
getting a
think
first round
was-
pick was pretty fucking nice. Shout out
That's
Brian
what I'm saying.
Greasy, looking fucking great, my guy.
Why trade that much for a coach? It's just a coach in general. That's so much capital to give up for him, in my opinion. But then again, like, did they really think they were a Sean Payton piece away from making that big of a jump?
Man, I don't know. So, okay. So Sean Payton is so weird because, like, there would be sometimes when during his run in the Saints when you're like, oh man, Sean did something fucking stupid again. Has Drew Brees just propped up Sean Payton for the entire time that they've been together? And then other times, Drew Brees goes out and he misses 4 games and the Saints win 4 straight. And you're like, oh, Sean Payton, guys, still kind of got it. He's also like in like the in like a competitive sense, he is such an asshole. Like he is a shit talker. He's I don't know. He definitely has a way of like getting under people's skin. I get it. But Sean Payton obviously has had some historically bad defenses in his career. And that's not necessarily his fault because he doesn't draft defensive players and he is an offensive coach. But goddamn, Sean, you'd think at this point you'd be picking better coordinators.
Yeah, bringing Vance Joseph back to Denver was interesting.
Ooh. Ooh.
I mean, I didn't think that was going to work when they first announced it, but I mean, the effort's not there. Like you said, they dressed 2 safeties. Kareem Jackson, who's been somewhat of a polarizing player, he's already knocked out 2 players the first 2 weeks. I saw clips of him yesterday. Not even he wasn't even trying. The effort is just not there. That team's checked out already.
The first play, the first Tyreek touchdown, I don't even know what the fuck they were running because Tyreek was just like 15 yards down the field open and both safeties were like near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I couldn't. I never fails to amaze me how wide open that guy gets.
Right? I don't get it. But
So, I mean,
anyway.
I don't want to take too much time, but what do you do if you're the Broncos? Are you sellers? Like, do you blow up the team? I mean, you don't have much draft picks for the next several years because of Russell Wilson and Sean Payton.
Do you know what's
Not
fucking
only you guys
terrifying?
didn't get a first round, you guys got a second rounder for Sean Payton as well.
Do you know what's terrifying?
Ridiculous. What is?
Russell Wilson's contract hasn't even kicked in yet.
Yeah, the fact that they gave him a contract before he even stepped foot into their facility was ridiculous. I thought, but what do you do, man? That team looks like shit. They're gonna be shit unless they
I
can
would
hit on some of those
cry.
mid.
That's what I would do. I would cry and pack a bowl.
I just don't see what they do, man. They're I don't know.
John Elway ain't dressing, y'all. Shannon Sharp is not walking through that door. Jesus Christ at this point could not help them. And you know what? It's not going to get easier. Have you looked at the Broncos schedule?
Yeah, this is for them to start this poorly is, I mean, like I said, the effort's already gone. Their season's lost, in my opinion. I don't see them turning it around.
So the next 2 weeks are their get right weeks. But let me read you their schedule after that. And you tell me when the easy game is, okay? At KC, home versus Green Bay, home versus Kansas City, at Buffalo, versus the Vikings, versus the Browns, at Houston, at the Chargers, at the Lions, versus the Patriots. Like, okay, you can say, okay, maybe Houston, or if Minnesota really starts falling off, but this is gonna this is not looking fucking good.
No, next week against Chicago is probably going to be one of the worst games we've seen in quite some time. I'm curious, man. I look at that as like a get right game for Chicago as well. Like it's a make or break. Like at least Sean Payton has that security. They traded so much for him. He's not going anywhere.
They're gonna end.
Russell Wilson ain't going
It's
anywhere.
gonna be a tie. That's it. It's gonna end
Oh
it
my
as a
god,
tie.
it's gonna be like that Denver Indy game last year on Thursday night, man. One of the worst games I've ever seen.
No, literally.
What was it? 9-3, 9-6, 12-9, or something like that. Oh god.
I feel like Denver has just been involved in some of truly the most ugly games of football just in the past 5 years. I just think about when the Saints played them, and the Broncos couldn't dress any quarterbacks because they all had COVID.
Mm.
And it was just like
the Kendall Hinton game, right?
Oh my god, it was
Hall of Famer.
I felt
Kendall
bad,
Hinton.
but it was so funny. Anyway, we got to start wrapping up. Let's hit some Monday Night Football predictions, and we'll GTFO.
All right, so we open up. Got last week of the season where we got 2 Monday night games.
Thank fucking God. I do
I
not
enjoy
agree
those.
with
I
this.
enjoy those. I don't know how it works for you, those late games being on the East Coast, dude. Are you stay up till midnight? Is that?
Well, okay, so Sunday night football, and when there's football at, when it starts, because for us it starts at like 8:25. So you already stay up until 11:30 watching those. I would prefer if they brought it, when you're doing 2 games, rather than doing 7:15, fucking do 6:15, man. Like make it sort of an afternoon day game. I don't know. I don't it That's just East Coast bias, I guess. But I want to watch both games and pay attention to both games, but I struggle because like they're going on at the same time. I struggle with the same thing on Sundays, but I don't know. Stagger them a little more, NFL. Come on.
So first game we got Philly Tampa. I see here in the notes. Let me hear what you think.
Yeah, so I am very high on this Philadelphia team. I think Jalen Hurts is fucking incredible. So does the NFL. He's the reigning MVP. I think Devontae Smith and AJ Brown are incredible. I think their running back room is awesome. They are incredible in the trenches. This Eagles team is built to win in so many different conditions. You're like, oh hey, we're just gonna run the ball fucking 40 times today. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, Jalen Hurts, can you throw the ball 50 times? He probably could do that because they have the weapons and the wide receivers, and Jalen is a great quarterback. And this is going against Tampa. I think people love Baker Mayfield, so I think they're high on Tampa. But
I am people.
but I don't know. I think this is. I don't even know what the point spread is for this game.
It's 5 points.
Yeah, come on. This is to me. This is like the 49ers Giants line on Thursday, where I was like, it's too much. The team is the disparity is too much for that line, in my opinion.
Very interesting. Okay, so
What's your opinion?
You have Philly winning in a blowout. Right? I think that's what you noted here.
Maybe not in a blowout, but I think they're gonna win by like 10-14 at least.
Okay, so I don't disagree with you with everything that you said about Philly. I think Philly will also win. I could definitely see that happening. But I think at the very least Tampa will cover. I think it's gonna be a very good game. Like I said, I love Baker Mayfield. I think he's in a place where he's appreciated. I don't think this Mike Evans, stat line is this outburst is gonna continue. I think he'll kind of come crashing down. But I don't know. Philly Philly struggled, in my opinion, slightly against Minnesota last week. Opening the season, Tampa beat Minnesota. I think they gave them a better game, to be honest. It's gonna be a very good game. I think this goes down to what happens with AJ Brown. I think he's been trashed this year. I think you should trade him to me and get off under him as soon as you can.
Wow, bold.
No, in all seriousness, I'm just trying to get some fantasy players. No, I think he's been disappointing, right? He hasn't popped off as much as he did last year. We saw them arguing last week. But that's what happens when you have so many players that you can get the ball to. What do you know? I mean, it's gonna happen. You're gonna have people that are pissed because they're not getting the ball as often. But let's see what happens. I'm curious to see. Do you stick with DeAndre Swift, or do you kind of roll it back and go back to Kenneth Gainwell being your number one? I don't see how you could.
Well, I have both of my fantasy teams, so I'm kind of just like 1, 2.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, no, it's gonna be a very good game. Mark my words. Tampa covers.
Word. All right, fair. And real quick, let's touch on the Cincy in LA. That's in LA, right?
It is.
Okay. So Joe Burrow.
No, it's in Cincinnati.
It's in Cincy. Okay. Joe Burrow, questionable to play. He is dealing with a calf issue, and he is trying to play, according to reports. But
so
in my
playing.
opinion, you think?
It came out. It says he's going to play tonight, barring any setbacks.
I saw this morning. It was like, he's trying to. But
I saw that too. But yeah, per Kelsey Conway,
Thanks.
Bengals beat reporter, she reported that he's going to play as of like an hour ago.
Thank you, Kelsey. No, I mean, so the line is like -3, and we've seen what happens when a quarterback with a poor offensive line goes out and tries to play on Monday Night Football.
Who's also dealing with a calf injury.
Who's also dealing with a fucking calf injury from camp.
We're obviously talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
No, that worries me too. I was thinking the exact same thing. Those are some of the things you got to worry about when dealing with the calf injury. Is
sorry about my cat.
Oh, no worries. Trying to get a word in.
Yeah, right. No, God, it just feels like these calf injuries can go from, oh yeah, he's fine, it's just a strain, and then suddenly the fucking Achilles is torn, and you're like, maybe it's a little more than that.
You know that Andrew Luck was dealing with a calf injury in training camp prior to his retirement?
Crazy.
It's concerning, man, because the Bengals have not looked right. Joe Burrow has not looked right. But can you sit him? You're 0-2 already. I don't know.
I certainly understand wanting to play him, but like, this is Aaron Donald, yo.
Well, they got Battlehawks legend AJ McCarron, Bengals legend, honestly.
McCarron's not starting though.
No.
Jake Browning would.
Jake Browning will start,
yeah.
but I mean that's for now until AJ McCarron gets a little more acclimated. I think he's number 2. Jake Browning. Sorry, bottom tier backup quarterback. Regardless, though, you're not winning without Joe Burrow.
Who's your take? So you're saying Bengals win?
No. I don't know. What did I wrote? I think I put Cincy. Yeah, it goes as Burrow goes. I don't even know, man. I think the Rams have surprised a lot of people, right?
I think the Rams are going to win.
Great. I think I got to agree with you too.
Yeah. I think Rams. I think Rams win, and they certainly cover, even if they don't win. Yeah, I just think
Rams will move to 2-1, and then we're gonna have a battle of the 2-1 teams next week. Rams Colts.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
It'll be some good games.
It'll be some good games. Looking forward to it. Anyway, let's wrap up. You got anything to plug before we bounce?
Colts are 2-1. I just touched on it. Let's go.
Colts are 2-1. Yeah, I'm excited for when the Saints play the Colts. That'll be a fun week.
That's why I'd asked when you're coming.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. Fair.
Well, we
Anyway,
can meet up in New Orleans.
we can do something. Well, I wouldn't want to go to New Orleans during hurricane season. No offense.
I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna take offense to that.
Anyway, man. So that's actually it's October 29th. So that'll be fun. Halloween weekend, baby. Yeah, appreciate you for coming on.
Anytime.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Emotionally Hedging. That's the best way to do football, baby. So even when your team loses, you'll win some money. Gotta love it. Anyway, appreciate everyone for checking out this episode. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We are on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor. Yeah, that's right, Mac. Tell them. Yeah, let us know. Let us know if you like our podcasts. Let us know if you want to hear specific things. You know, it's a vibe. We will not have this show for the next 2 weeks. I unfortunately am going to be traveling, so I will, well, not unfortunately, but I will be traveling, so I will not be able to watch the games. And if I am able to watch the games, I'm certainly not going to be able to record a podcast about them. But yeah, so look, but they're still gonna. I'm gonna try and get something recorded this week so I can have still an episode come out next week. Won't be sports related, or maybe it will. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, thanks again, AJ, for joining.
Of course.
And peace out, people.
Have a good one.